Well, welcome to Wyoming Armory right here in Cody, Wyoming. Now today we're going to have a bit of fun with the sidearm that I carry when I'm back at the Cinnabar. This Uberti Cattleman in 4440. Now this one's been all slicked up, runs like a top, got the trigger pull crisp, just over a pound. Slick as snot, lightened up the springs, polished everything up in it, made these beautiful bird's eye maple one-piece grips. But it has one problem that I just can't hardly abide, and that's the kind of phony chemical case colors on the frame. And for a guy that prides himself on the beautiful original traditional bone charcoal color case hardening we do here in the shop, that needs to be remedied. So today that's just what we're going to do. We're going to take this old girl apart, get her all prepped up, and do a traditional color case hardening on the frame, loading gate, and hammer, just like the good Lord and Sam Colt intended for single action armies. So first things first, we're going to make sure she's cleared, and she is. Then we'll get the old girl apart and get her down to her basic components so that we can get that frame, trigger and loading gate, or hammer and loading gate, out into the crucible and case hardened up. So now we've got it all apart. We just need to pull this barrel out, and we're ready to do a little bit of metal prep on this frame and get her out to the case color hardening room. Okay, now that we've got this Revolver all taken apart, we've just got one more part to get out of this frame, and that's the barrel. Of course, we don't want to color case harden barrels. So if you've got a really good grip strength, squeeze tight and just kidding, we actually took this over to the barrel vise and got it started. Once you get her started, you should just screw right out, and now we're down to the basic frame. Now the modern chemical case color process that mostly uses a cyanide formula today isn't completely unattractive. It's done just to mimic original case colors, but to me they just don't look like original case colors at all, both in terms of the color, these kind of dull blues and browns, and the texture as well. It's just too bright, shiny. Doesn't really look a lot like original case colors. So next thing we're going to do, we'll remove these chemical case colors with some navel jelly. This step may or may not be necessary as far as taking these chemical case colors off before we recase it, but typically we just take everything back to bare metal before we put them in the crucible for case color, and we use this navel jelly, Loctite navel jelly, mix it with some water, and it takes off bluing or any kind of finish that might come along, and even these chemical case colors with a little elbow grease, they'll come off. It takes a little bit, but not a whole bunch. You can see some of that coming off already on the frame where I'm working on it. And we'll just keep rubbing that navel jelly on until we get down to bare metal. And then we're ready to go. And we'll look around, see if there's any scratches that maybe we need to polish out. But for the most part, this gun's in really nice shape, so it's not going to take much in the way of polish to get this one ready to go. Okay, so we've just about got all those case colors off. We got just bright, shiny, clean metal. We're going to go ahead and rinse it off. Just to get the rest of that navel jelly off of there, because it can etch it or even pit a little bit if we leave that navel jelly on it for a long period of time. Okay, so this is how the parts look after removing those kind of faux chemical case colors. We've got it back down to bare metal now, and this is kind of our before picture, and we're ready to pack them in a crucible and see how they color up. Let's get this packed in the crucible now. You see, we've got the frame here, we've got a little barrel stub in it here, and we've got it wired to a chain here. That way we can kind of control how the finished part hits the water, what orientation, and also keep it from banging on anything else that may be in the quench tank there. We'll put it in first, so it'll be the last piece to come out. And then we'll just pack our mix of bone and wood charcoal. And then we've got a couple other pieces we'll put in here with the hammer and the loading gate. And then we've got in this little basket, while we're hardening this stuff, I've got a 86 set trigger sear that we had to do some welding on, so we'll take the opportunity to harden it at the same time. Make sure I get it packed in real good. Put these other parts in. And these small parts we put in a screen. This is a stainless steel screen here, so that we don't lose them in the quench tank. They can be kind of challenging to find at times. And it kind of keeps them away from the charcoal, and you would think that they wouldn't color, and it really doesn't matter because they're inside the receiver, but they end up usually coloring up pretty well anyway, and they certainly harden up. Got a lid on it again to try to minimize the amount of oxygen. And now it's time to crank her up. Okay, so here we go, the moment of truth. Gotta love all the drama involved. Oh, colored up beautifully. Love it. So I don't know how well you can see that, but that just really turned out nice. That's exactly the kind of colors we were going for. It looks a lot like original Colt case colors. A little more subdued usually than the Winchester colors we get with the really bright splashes of reds and yellows. What a beauty. All right, so here we are. We've got it all dried out and oiled up. And we can see really nice colors here. Now I mentioned a little bit about going for a little more subdued colors with the single action Army frames, and that's what we typically see. Now, of course, we know from being over at the museum that just about all the 19th century case color hardening on rifle receivers is bright reds and yellows for the most part, but we see a lot of the original single action Armies were a little more subdued, like this one. Not that there aren't some gorgeous bright ones with big splashes of reds and yellows on them, but they're more the exception than the rule. So what we actually did here is reused some charcoal that had already been used once, and typically that kind of subdues the colors just a little bit. Don't get quite as many reds and yellows, and we can see that they're in here, but they're just kind of hints of them here and there within the blues and the grays that we see. So very cool. And while I was just waiting for it to cook, we niter blued these screw heads to make it more look like an original single action Army with the niter blued screws. So can't wait to now get it all back together. Now that, to my way of thinking, is a vast improvement over those chemical case colors on these Ubertis. Now with a traditional bone charcoal color case hardening and niter blued screw heads, really has that traditional Colt look. Now next time we fire up the bluing tanks, I'll throw in that cylinder. I see there's quite a few little scratches on it, and we'll just have one dandy looking single action Army clone. Well, thanks for joining us today as we purdied up this old Uberti Cattleman. I hope you enjoyed today's episode and maybe learned a little something. Until next time, happy trails from Wyoming Armory right here in Cody, Wyoming.